I want a relationship. I want a confidence. She has such flawless skin and I want it. I want a career. She looks like she has her entire life put together. I want her life. You see someone celebrating a milestone or a win and suddenly something just shrinks inside of you. You start to feel small. Sounds familiar, right? Today we're not going to pretend as if these feelings or emotions they don't exist. We're going to unpack them raw and honest. The truth is we don't just wake up every day trying to compare ourselves to others, but it is inevitable. It is just our brain collecting data. We look around and subconsciously we start asking ourselves questions like, am I doing enough for my life? Am I okay with my life? Am I where I should be right now? We use this data as a metric to evaluate our lives. And if we measure up, we feel good about ourselves. But if we measure down, we begin to feel small. We begin to feel left behind in life and we begin to feel envious. Envy usually starts with comparison, and it's not just about wanting what someone else wants. Sometimes it is deeper than that. It's that feeling of why do they have it and I don't have it? It begins to feel unfair. It looks like their happiness somehow takes something away from you. It gets to a point where you are not just admiring what they have, you actually don't want them to have it too. You are upset that their life looks good and yours don't, and you're feeling like if their life can look a little less happy, maybe you feel better about your own life. You see, it's that mindset of I feel bad about my life, but if I get to hear or know that something isn't going very well in your own life, I am going to feel like we're equal. I won't feel so small. I won't feel like you're above me anymore. The same thing happens with success. Someone is killing it in their career and succeeding in big projects. You start feeling small compared to them. But the minute you hear that a particular project they are working on flops, or it did not go well as planned, you begin to low-key feel happy about it. Instead of feeling bad for them, you get the feeling of, she's not perfect after all. It's just that little satisfaction that you get from seeing someone you feel beneath struggle, so you can feel like you're on the same level with them. Everything I'm saying sounds twisted, right? But it is real. We try to balance out these skills emotionally so we don't feel left out in life. Now, I know I have said it on this channel that we should not use social media to measure how good or how bad our life is, because social media is not a real place. People only let you see or know what they want you to see and know, right? While I still stand on that, recently I have had to pause and ask myself, why is it that it is only when people share good news, that is when people are fast and quick to say social media is not a real place? Social media is not real life. But if someone comes and say, oh, my marriage is draining me, it's not working, my husband is a terrible man, everybody believes it instantly. Nobody questions it. It's like, yes, they must be telling the truth. But let another person come out and write or post, oh, I have spent 6 amazing years with my partner. 6 years after, we are still so in love. We have built a happy and solid marriage all these years. That's when you start seeing people shouting, oh, social media is not a real place. So it's not everything you see online that you believe. Oh, she's probably getting beaten at home. Her husband is probably cheating on her. She's just covering up. She's just coming online here to tell us what we want to hear. Like, why? Now let's think about it. If your first response to someone's good news is you trying to downplay it or convince yourself that it is not real, it is fake, what does that say about you? Why do we always doubt the positive? Why is it easier to believe that someone is struggling than believing that people are genuinely happy? Yes, many people lie a lot online. There's no doubting of that fact. But here's the truth that many people don't know, or they know it, but they don't want to agree to it. You see that thing that they are doing, downplaying other people's good news and happiness to make themselves feel good. It is a coping mechanism. We discredit joy so that we don't feel bad about our own pain. We tell ourselves these things so that we will feel good about our own condition. You chip away at other people's joy and celebration so that you don't feel bad about yourself, so that you don't feel lesser than them. And honestly, it is just a way of you trying to protect your heart from jealousy and envy. But that is not the right way at all. It's a subtle way of finding comfort in your own reality. You honestly don't mean to be unkind or mean, but because you allow this dissatisfaction of your own life overwhelm you, you begin to think only the negative about other people. You convince yourself that that good news that people are sharing is not real. And even if it is real, you start thinking, there has to be a comma somewhere. There has to be something. That means not 100%. She looks happy in her relationship, but I beg, I'm sure her man is probably cheating on her. She's glowing though. I beg you. I'm sure there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know. We have conditioned our mind to think small and believe the worst things about people and their situations. This is why you downplay people's achievements, you downplay people's joy. This mindset gives you small sense of comfort. It helps you feel a bit better about your own life, that nothing is happening in, so that you will not feel left behind or feel like you are missing out on something or you are behind others in life. You tell yourself these things just so you can make peace with your own disappointment. So you assume that other people are secretly struggling too, not because you want to sympathize with them, but because it helps you feel like you're not the only one going through stuff. Because misery feels less lonely when you convince yourself that nobody has it as good as they try to show it off. You can call it discernment. I know many people will say, yes, that is reality, that is life, you are just being real. You can call it having wisdom. While that can be true, if you want to be really honest, brutally honest with yourself, you will realize that a lot of times it is masked jealousy or envy. One thing people need to know is that sometimes jealousy is not always loud or obvious. Sometimes jealousy wears makeup. Jealousy speaks wisdom and it hides behind real talk, reality talk, real life talk. But let's be real. Even if you find out that things aren't as great as it looks like in their camp, even if the light isn't shining as bright as they make it look like it is shining, it shouldn't make you feel good. If your first reaction to the struggle of somebody is satisfaction, I knew it. I knew it that they were hiding something. I knew that it wasn't that perfect. If that discovery makes you feel good and feel better about your own life, when the moment someone else's failure gives you satisfaction, that is your sign. That is when you know that you have work to do with yourself. What you need to do is some real self-assessment. You need to start asking yourself questions like, what is it about this person's joy that is making me feel small? Why is their happiness triggering me? That is the time you need to sit with these feelings, sit with those emotions and confront them. Because what happens if after you poke your nose trying to figure out the comma in someone else's life, you now find out that there's really no struggle behind the scenes for them? Good things are actually happening for them effortlessly. What if that 10 seconds highlight reel that you saw, what they just showed you was just a small 10 seconds or 30 seconds sneak peek of their daily reality? What happens then? Because that is the point where this feeling, this emotion, this jealousy and envy, if you don't tackle it at that point, if you don't deal with it at that point, jealousy and envy will become dangerous. Because you see, envy and jealousy as an emotion, it's not always evil. It's okay to feel these things. It's okay to have these feelings come up inside of you. But what you choose to do with this emotion is what matters. Because envy happens when we see someone that has something that we want. So we begin to notice the gap between where we are and where we really wish to be, or what we have currently and what we really want. The key thing here is to notice how we respond to that gap, both emotionally and in our actions. So instead of using that gap to start hating on other people or getting filled with resentment, and then you are now pushed to start doing evil things to these people that you feel jealous of or envious of, this is what you should do. Use that emotion to inspire growth. And here's how you do it. Step 1 is to separate the person from the possession. You need to realize that the envy you are feeling isn't about the person at all. It's more about what that person has, the possession, which in your case might be a thriving career that you want for yourself. Once you are able to separate that thing that you want from the person that has it, you begin to see things more clearly. You gain clarity. Instead of looking at them with resentment or start acting weird towards them, you can actually get inspired by these people and learn from them. Step 2, let that envy teach you. What is that gap showing you about your own desires? Because once you are able to separate the person from the possession, you start to see clearly the gap in your own life. And even better, you will know what you need to do to start filling the gap. This is where you start asking yourself questions like, am I willing to put in the work towards filling the gap? This takes me to step 3. Take action. Don't self-destruct. Don't sit in resentment. Start building something. I remember one time I used to be so envious of a particular lady and her career. She was doing the exact things that I want to do. And I know that I have the potential to do the same thing. Whenever I see her and her post, I used to always feel, no, I won't call it anger, but there was just this silent resentment I was feeling towards her. But instead of me sitting down in that resentment, I used that resentment as fuel and I started putting in the work to build the career that I want for myself. That's why I believe that envy can actually be productive. It's usually a sign that there's something missing or there's something you want. There's a gap that you have to fill in your life. And in that moment, you are left with 2 choices. Either you use that emotion to grow or you let it eat you up. For me, I would choose self-improvement over self-destruction and definitely not allow that emotion put ideas into my head to want to pull somebody down because they have what I want or they are where I want to be. Because in most cases like this, when you see this kind of people online, that's when people become trolls. You wish to have what they have, and since you cannot have it, you begin to hate them online. You begin to drop hate comments. You begin to turn trolls online. Instead of doing all of that, use that energy and put it back into yourself and watch yourself grow. Same thing goes with physical features or physical confidence. If you catch yourself saying things like, oh, I don't like my lips, I wish I had a kind of lips, her lips are plumpy, I want a kind of lips, or this girl's confidence, I wish I have a kind of confidence. You're comparing your confidence level to that of another person. I actually have a video on this channel where I talked about embracing your insecurities and I gave valuable tips on how to build your confidence. Confidence tips that will really help you. I will leave the link in the description box below, or I will put the link somewhere up on the screen. Please do well and check that out. It is going to be very, very beneficial to you. And there's also the option of doing absolutely nothing. Not every emotion needs to be fixed. You can feel envious of somebody and you can just feel it. You don't have to act on it. Because with the small life experiences I've had, there are some times where there are some things we are envious of. There are some things we wish we have, but when we eventually get them, the truth is having those things does not necessarily mean that our life will be better or we will be happier. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to just admit how you feel, sit with this emotion and don't force anything. Just feel it. And with time, that feeling will fade. That emotion will go away. I've had cases where I see somebody that has what I want. I just tell myself, okay, she has it, I don't have it. That's okay, no problem. And that is it. End of story. It takes a lot of healing to get to this level that I'm at right now, but it is definitely attainable. I have another video on this channel that breaks down jealousy even deeper than this. I shared scriptures that have helped me overcome jealousy and envy. It is an in-depth step-by-step guide that has helped me, and I believe it's going to help you too. So I am going to put the link to that video on the screen, or you'll find it in the description box. I have it in a playlist. I'm going to link it somewhere, and I highly recommend you check it out. I would like for you to share your thoughts on today's video. How have you been able to overcome jealousy and envy? What are the extra tips that you can give to us so that we will all learn together? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. Please give this video a big thumbs up, click the like button, and please, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe because I would like to see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.